Hello. Ah, can't believe they've done this. Honestly, I wasn't prepared for this, like at all. I knew it would happen. Like, not exactly this video. I knew there was gonna be a lore relevant video coming soon, but I thought it would be at least next week, if not the one after that. So, when this dropped last night, I wasn't prepared. I still feel ill prepared. Honestly, but it's okay. We roll. We roll with the punches and we do what we must. And what we must do is talk about it. Because damn, I really thought that the video this year would be about nod-krai. I wasn't expecting anything like this. Like, I remember watching it last night and being like, okay, so we're gonna learn a little bit about nod-krai, a little bit more, I guess, because we do know a little bit as of now. But when I started watching and this happened, I was like, okay, so this is not cry. Oh, it's behind my head, but well, you know, when Naberius appeared. So yeah, I have a lot to discuss, and I only have 2 hours because I wasn't prepared for this, and I have to study. I have an exam next Monday. Um, but yeah, I do have a lot of stuff to do. If I start thinking about it, I'm gonna get stressed out. Um, so yeah, I only have 2 hours to talk about this. So excuse me, one of my cats is okay. Clicked. Um, excuse me, sir. Can you leave me alone? No? You wanna move the mouse? Okay, that's fair. Oh, and also, it's very likely that at around 6, or well, that would be in about an hour. I don't know where everyone is watching from. So, in about an hour, I will probably have to leave for 5 minutes. But after that, we continue. So yeah, I have so much to say because ever since this came out, I've been looking at my old notes because I'm a nerd and I make notes about Genshin. Um, and yeah, so I have a lot to revise from my old thoughts, but let's do it like this. We're gonna get into it when it comes up in the video, so I don't start rambling on about anything and everything. Let's attempt to have a little structure at least. Okay, my dear, can you move? My cat is sitting perfectly in front of the monitor, so I'm gonna need him to move, but now he's cleaning himself, so okay, there we go. Can you come into my lab? Do you wanna do that? Hmm? Come here. There you go. You wanna be here? No? But I don't want you to be on the desk, you know? Okay, now he's tapping on the keyboard. Okay. Gonna stay there because you're perfectly in front of the screen. And you're also hiding chat from me. Okay, let's do it like this. And play.
This world has always been so. Life abides no reason, for none are born by their own consent.
Okay, so first look, and we're already seeing a triquetra and also this symbol that looks like the quantum symbol that we can see, for example, in the cubes. And this is life, Nabirius. So, okay, let's make a mental note of that.
Death abides no reason, for it cannot be defied, even by those who see it coming.
Okay, and here we have the symbol of Homa, which we've seen a lot, aside from the staff of Homa. We've seen it elsewhere too. But what also this should remind anyone, probably, is the statue of the omnipresent god in Inazuma, which for a long time we haven't known what the fuck the statue was about, because it clearly wasn't A or her sister. Give me a second.
Time abides no reason.
Okay, that was my cat that pressed play. I still wanted to talk about this. So yeah, that statue, and well, we can see her representation, I suppose, here, like the one we saw in Natlan. I wonder, or anything like that here. I'm just looking in case we've already seen her and not noticed. Oh, yeah, another thing I wanted to mention about these images in particular. All their thingies, these flowing pieces are they look like some sort of technological thing. Like it reminds me of in Amphorias in what's the place called where Hyacinth is from, like this as well.
Death abides no reason, for
See, Renova also has that on the ends.
it cannot be defied, even by those who see it coming. Time abides no reason, for it deprives us all equally, yet brooks not a second to be reclaimed.
Well, she doesn't. But also, this visage, let's put it like that, looks very different from the one we see later. At least the hair looks different. The color, like this is clearly blonde, and then she appears as fully white hair. We see another triquetra. Oh, and there's also a triquetra here, but I don't think we can see it here, but there are two in her design. I just don't think we can see them here. Also, I find it interesting that this cape is like Paimon's in the sense that it's moving, but
equally.
this
Yet
star
brooks not a second
are
to be reclaimed.
static.
Space abides no reason. Space abides no reason.
And here we see the same shape that Paimon has in her hair. I mean, of course, we can also see it big in the background. Okay. But you know, this one is more clear, I suppose, because it could also be just a stretched out star of one of these, which is what it looks like here. But it's specifically just the leg from under. What the fuck is my cat doing, brother? He's like stretching one of his arms over my phone. Anyways, you're really not gonna let me have a moment for myself, huh? But is this cloth or is it her hair? It's cloth, because her hair is all flowing back here. I don't see a triquetra on her, but maybe we can see one in the game. I don't remember now.
The ruler of space stopped the golden-haired twin travelers and mercilessly tore them apart.
Wanted to look at this for any secrets. I don't think there are. See, those are the triquetras, her design. Oh, and this symbol also here.
The beer... No. This looks more like Rhine-daughter's doing. Please don't litter other people's spaces with your bizarre creations.
Unsurprisingly, all life here has been rendered unstable, tainted by the ruler of space.
I've been trying to decipher this part of the conversation because, okay, so this is a space that was created by the Shade of Space, and then Daughter came along and made these creations here. And then once they figured this out, they had to be annihilated. But clearly Istaroth was aware of this space. I don't know, just this
Spaces with your...
this phrase. It makes it feel like at least Ronova just found out about this space and she came here to specifically delete it because of Daughter's creations.
bizarre creations.
Unsurprisingly, all life here has been rendered unstable, tainted by the ruler of space. I have seen enough to know that repeating this experiment would be fruitless.
I really want to know what she was trying to prove or disprove with this experiment.
You seem to wield my power as if it were nothing but a plaything for your...
Also, I think this is a unpopular opinion because most of the people I've seen slash read have been mentioning how probably the golden eye is from gold and the blue eye is from Naberius. I would like to postulate the opposite. Because, and only because, all Canrians so far have had blue eyes, and also because this eye specifically has the diamond shape. So, you know, Canria. Also, yes, I can see the X and the Y. They're upside down, or well, at least the Y is. And upside down X looks the same, so. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that. And also, oh, it's really clear that Naberius changed appearance. Because this doesn't look anything like what we saw at the beginning.
Your amusement. Although merging with you has stripped me of agency, I shall still continue to voice my disapproval. I shall still continue to
I really like this parallelism.
voice my disapproval.
I did notice that all the shades have these veils. At least Ronova and Naberius do. Also, I really like this. It reminds me of Albedo. The solar
My dear
isotoma.
Rhine daughter, you have my respect, Naberius. Your nagging is one of the only things that can get under my skin.
And you, Istaroth? Why did you bestow history upon them?
So the space was created by Asmodee, and then Rhine-daughter came here and made her creations, and then Istaroth came here and bestowed upon them history.
Why did you bestow history upon them?
I had to find some way to pass the time, did I not? After all, it's clear that Asmodee is not here.
Well, perhaps you could share your input a little earlier next time. But you're right. There's no trace of Asmodee here. Where has she gone? Anyway.
I find it crazy that even the shades themselves don't know where Asmodee is.
It's time I put this space out of its misery.
Those are a lot of cubes. Hmm. I know it shows here that I didn't finish watching this video, but I actually watched the Twitch VOD first. um, and he did mention this idea that this is a parallel to the bubble universe, which I do find interesting because Genshin has done a lot of this whole same concept but on a smaller scale thing. So like for example, I have notes about this. Storm Terror Slayer is a parallel to Celestia. The Caribbean, a parallel to the... Well, at that point in my life, I wrote Sustainer, but because I thought the Sustainer of the Heavenly Principles was the same as the Heavenly Principles, you know? I thought it was just a shortened way of calling them, but apparently not, which I'm glad that it has been confirmed that they're separate entities, because it's been something that's been hindering me for a long time. So yeah, now we know. But yeah, I feel like even all the regions are like that they're presenting a concept and an allegory to something bigger. I mean, that's the same but bigger, you know? So it would make sense that this is like a simulated universe, which is created to be exactly the same as the real universe, but it's not. It's within the universe, but it's not part of it, I suppose. But yeah, a simulated universe created specifically to find a way to, I suppose, combat the issues in the real universe. Okay, my cat is getting particularly annoying right now. He keeps walking over my stuff. So I think it's because it's almost time for food, although it's not yet. But I'll give him food anyways, just a little earlier, just so I can stream in peace. So give me 2 seconds. Okay, I'm back. So yeah, that whole thing. Okay, blah blah blah. Good. Let's keep going.
These meetings are just a formality. Does it really matter that only 3 of us are here?
I, for one, think that we should find her. Since the Heavenly Principles cast us as shades, not one of us has ever missed a meeting.
What if she just switched sides? Finding her would do more harm than good.
I keep wondering what she means by switched sides. So you're either on the side of the Heavenly Principles or on the side of what? The dragons? They did have like 2 wars, I think. Because once when the usurper came, the usurper being the Heavenly Principles, but also then when Nibelung came back, they fought again. And then I suppose that time either they really did the fit Nibelung and he's been dead since, or I don't know, maybe he's just recharging like everyone else seems to do in this game for thousands of years.
Now there's an interesting idea.
The only other side I can think of is the Abyss. But I don't see how she would go on the side of the Abyss. Like, that feels too much of a change.
Better than being devoured.
I know here she's referring to the fact that she ate Nabirius, but it also leaves me thinking. Because it's like she's saying that the other option was being devoured. Like she either switches sides, or she gets devoured. You know? Hmm. Is it possible that maybe all of them are like Granddaughter? In the sense that they're not the original shades? Or maybe Ronova is the only one. I mean, she's the only one that looks the same as in this picture. This one. But both Nabirius and Isteroth look very different.
Just switched sides? You make it sound like such a trivial affair. We are shades, shadows of the heavenly principles. It's unthinkable. Unless she loves her new master more than her own self.
Okay, yeah. The implication there, I think, is very obvious to anyone who likes the lore of this game. But at the same time, it's so obvious that I feel like it's a red herring. You know? Waivers doesn't usually give us things this straightforwardly. Also, I really like her design. God, I love the thingy she has on top of her head with these stuffs and this that looks like the tip of a quill. Like it really reflects that she is not only the ruler of time but also very tied to history. So I like it. I like it a lot.
Ronova, do you know that you're being watched?
By whom? Whose gaze could pierce this far?
My number one, my man, the jester. Please, please, Hoyo, I need to see this man in game. When will you give him to me? I don't even need him to be playable, not right now. I just need to see him. Let me see him in game. Let the traveler meet the number one. Please.
I remember those eyes.
Also, not to be that person again, but his eyes are a little bit purple, and so are Kaya's. I know, we've been here. We've been here before, but I will never let go of this theory until I'm proven wrong. And like, I'm being told specifically that it's wrong. So probably for a long time.
I remember those eyes. It was just before I placed the curse of immortality.
Her veil is more obvious from here. I suppose because it's not a full veil, it starts at the middle of her head, so. But yeah, she does have one, and Starth, I'm not sure. But his eyes look different here, different color. Love the getup, gotta say. Yeah, this also reminds me of when Asmodee appears. So maybe it's something that they all share. Maybe the only thing that changes is the color. But then again, actually, it would be weird that we have two shades with the same color motif. Both Renova and Asmodee, I feel like, are related to red. But for Renova, it makes sense. It's really. Death is really connected to Pyro. So that makes sense. But Base isn't really connected to Pyro. And then Time is really connected to Anemo, but I highly doubt that her color would be that teal color that Anemo has. And well, life is really tied to Hydro. And Nabirius does have a blue color scheme. But then there's this gold.
Ah, yes. He's an old acquaintance of mine. I'm sure that working for the Tsaritsa has helped him let go of his past obsessions.
Yeah, Reindaughter feels like a loose cannon, which is exactly what I was expecting, but she's a little more cruel than I expected. Like, she dismisses everything as if it didn't matter. Like, she's talking about his issues with the gods as if it's something irrelevant. When his issues with the gods come from the fact that his whole country was destroyed.
The Cryo Archon. With her paltry powers, she dares set her gaze on the heavenly principles.
The heavenly principles have yet to awaken. If I were her, I wouldn't pass on that opportunity either.
My dear Reindaughter, you know I cannot allow you to think that way.
It was purely hypothetical, Nabirius.
For lack of a direct order, I say it's time we intervened. Of course, to the extent permitted by the rules.
The gaze of the gods has always been considered a blessing. Hence the origin and meaning of visions. People have always yearned for the gaze of the gods. And yet, it is said that when mortals look directly upon the gods, they invite their wrath and retribution. And what of it? Lives will be lost, a nation brought to ruins.
That's an interesting statue back there. This one. I suppose it goes on behind this thing. The word is evading me.
So be it. It is nothing I have not endured before. I already know the price of gazing upon the gods. So tell me, what is the price of killing a god? The god stays silent, as if the thought had never once crossed his mind. To all those who dare not look up to the heavens, Her Majesty the Tsaritsa says this. Behold. Even the gods have their limits.
Inspection over.
Yeah, these definitely look like secret source automatons.
Inspection over. Return to your posts.
Make sure the Frostmoon Scions don't pose a threat.
That's me, chat. They're talking about me. I felt personally attacked when I saw this for the first time. I wasn't expecting this. Like, they get mentioned out of nowhere.
Per the Pale Star Edict, we are to retrieve the damselette from nod-krai, whatever it takes.
And this part is really interesting too. I mean, why is she not responding to the Pale Star Edict? Like, she is a harbinger, so she definitely should. So the options are that she won't or that she can't. So either she's gone rogue, or something is, or someone is trapping her here, which I think ties back to the moon, specifically because they mentioned the Frostman Scions. They did say pose a threat, so I don't know if it's because they're really powerful or because their powers in this instance in specific are very powerful. Or maybe it has nothing to do with their powers at all, and maybe it's more like they're attempting to revive the Frost Moon through Columbina. The glitching leads me to think that it's not that she's not responding because she won't, but because she can't.
We are to retrieve the damselette from nod-krai.
Like, It doesn't seem to be okay. This doesn't seem like okay behavior. You know? To be glitching. Yes, I know Arlecchino also glitches in her idol, but trying to see if there's any secrets in any of these frames. Okay, no.
Per the
Apparently not.
Pale Star Edict, we are to retrieve the damselette from nod-krai, whatever it takes.
Okay, so those were my initial thoughts about the video itself. And then with regards with my... Oh, I forgot to mention back here. He said, as if the thought had never once crossed his mind. And my initial thought was, first of all, Whiplash, because I was expecting him to say her mind. So far, all the gods in this video have been women, so I was expecting him to say her mind. But when he didn't, I was like, wait, who are you talking about? And then that led me to think, wait, we were referring to the heavenly principles in this line of conversation, or well, not conversation, but you know, dialogue, I suppose. So then I was like, okay, he's talking about the heavenly principles. So far, from what we know in game, the heavenly principles is more like a genderless entity. They're always referred to as they, and they say that they look androgynous. I think it was in Before Sun and Moon. Yes, I still have all these tabs open. Before Sun. Wait, it's called Byakuya Collection. Bruh. Did I misspell something? No. Why didn't it show up? Wait, let me just very quickly primordial one. When the doves held branches, when the eternal throne of the heavens came, the world was made anew. Then the true Lord, the primordial one, came forth and did battle against the seven terrifying sovereigns, dragon lords of the old world. The primordial one created shining shades of itself, and the number of these shades was four. On Phanes, the primordial one. The primordial one may have been Phanes. It had wings and a crown. Okay, so they use it, not they, but it's still a genderless pronoun, so. And was birthed from an egg, androgynous in nature. But for the world to be created, the egg's shell had to be broken. However, Phanes, the primordial one, used the eggshell to separate the universe and the microcosm of the world. Yeah, this is the issue. And well, going back to the topic. He's also called Vanes by Before Sun and Moon. Did they mention Vanes here? Yeah, Vanes. Oh, it's just for the translations. What do they call it? Vanes. That's how it would be spelled, yeah. It's a Greek word, so yeah. I don't have the keyboard. Oh, here. So it would be, I think this one is the PH. Again. Right. What this says. Forget the S. This one. Pameo. Okay, so now this one is an M. And I'm missing the S. Visible. Oh.
Vanes.
Yeah, okay. Expected. Are there no other possible translations, or can it only be translated as visible? Oh wait, I just realized this is fucking Bing. Oh wow, there's a place called like that. Act. Apparently.
Vanes.
Correct. Apparently visible. But yeah, what I was aiming with all of this is that for a long time I've thought, and like I'm reading from notes that I dated as 23rd of August of 2024. And one of the notes, you know, the thingy, it's not trip marketing, but how can I find that? Where this image comes from? This one. Don't lose faith in that which you have lost. In this new world, you will never be alone. Where you leave your footprints and where you have yet to stride, your new world will unfold before you. Welcome to a new world. KK. Does this open? Okay. Yeah, KK. That's all I'm looking for. I have long thought that KK refers to Kevin Castellana, which is very funny. You know, if you play Honkai Star Rail, you will know why it's funny. Ugh. Can you stop using ping? Because this is Honkai Star Rail's Kevin. His name is Finan, which is weirdly similar to Fanes. No? Let me see. Um, uh, can I get the... Okay, and now can you not Finan? This Feinan team. So it's very similar to Fanes. Bruh. Mute for 1 hour, please. Give the impression or sensation of being something or having a particular quality. Looks. Directs one gaze. Oh! Oh, that's interesting. Oh. Okay, I could spend a long time doing this shit. I should stop. But, you know, well, light. Both ether and domain also mean light. But yeah, if you know anything about Honkai Star Rail, you know why this feels important. And why it lends credence that KK is Kevin Castellana. And that ties back to Piero saying his instead of hers. To be fair, the more consistent option would have been to say its mind. That would have been more consistent with the translation so far, but it's okay. I can forgive. When translators get more information, I would prefer that they correct the past mistakes. Or well, the things that they translated before when they didn't know. So yeah, my cat is now sitting on top of my notes. I cannot take them. My dear, you move. Here, the chair. It's for you. Okay. I think the true creator is Kevin, but I don't know what his purpose is. It's what I wrote. which at this point I feel like the idea of Teyvat, or at least the universe in which Teyvat is currently located, is an experiment to try different options to fight the Honkai, which is clearly the parallelism with the Abyss, Genshin. Heavenly Principles are asleep. See, I used to write her for the Heavenly Principles. What the hell is wrong with Daughter? That's something I wrote. Well, now we know. What exactly is the goal of Farca's expedition? I suppose we know a little bit more about this, but not terribly a lot more. How does Archon's succession work? We still don't know. Why is this one upside down? Okay. Turn fire relevant right now. Apparently all of them were upside down. Which one is the front? Feel like this theory of mine that we'll know when the Heavenly Principles awaken based on the loading screen. I mean, the loading screen is just Celestia, and, well, if this isn't, I mean, it's not exactly a confirmation, but it's basically another hint that the Heavenly Principles really are in Celestia. Asleep, granted, but they're there. This is worth revisiting. The curse of immortality must stand, because lifting it would definitely awaken the Heavenly Principles, and not even the Shades want that to happen, is what I wrote. At this point, it really feels like Granova is more like Daddy's special child. Like, she feels very, I would say, Boy Scouty in that sense, although she's a woman, but so it feels to me that there was anything within the rules that she could do to awaken the Heavenly Principles, she probably would. Let's go back.
It's unthinkable. Unless she loves her new master more than her own self.
You know that you're being watched?
Loves her.
Yeah. Better than being devoured.
Just switched sides? You make it sound like such a trivial affair. We are shades, shadows of the heavenly principles. It's unthinkable.
Yeah, it really does sound more like devotion than fear. Because for now I was going with the idea that maybe the Shades were afraid of the Heavenly Principles, and that's why they acted under their orders. but it does sound like at least Renova does it out of devotion. I would say maybe Easteroth still falls under that. Like, it really feels like if she could do things differently, she would. It feels the more merciful, and the one that feels like she loves humanity more than the other ones. Or at least she's more protective, I suppose. Okay. Related. Another Easter's child has white hair and golden slash amber eyes in the references horses and rebellion slash being unstoppable by anyone, which does make sense. She has white hair and golden eyes.
Does it really matter that
But then Venti has black hair, green eyes. But I suppose that could all be explained by the fact that he has power over Anemo and, well, his appearance is the one. Wait a goddamn second. We never really found out how Venti took on the appearance of his friend. What if the nameless bard, quote unquote, ate Venti as a wind spirit, and that's how he took on his appearance? Gonna write that down. That's interesting. Because it really feels like we keep coming back to this idea of eating beings. Give me 1 second that I write it. Venti. Bruh, no way? What no way? Because, Paimon is always saying, oh, I'm not, well, I suppose we started it, but not me blaming Paimon for something we did. We started the joke with emergency food, and then we get Rhine devouring Naberius. And, well, I suppose. Oh, yeah, that makes sense because Rhine retained her appearance. Like, this is what Rhine looks like, not what Naberius looks like. Because this is what Naberius looks like. Look. I can talk, I swear. Um, yeah, the one being devoured lose their form, but the one devouring keep their form. So yeah, if the Bard friend devoured Venti. That would make sense. I like this theory. It doesn't add a lot to the lore, I suppose, but it's fun to think about. Yeah, wait, I was reading. Yeah, because I was thinking about this. The Celadon Mare, the one in Liyue. Celadon Mare. Okay. Honey he ate. To be honest, I like that theory, yes. Okay. Thank you. How do I find this character? Like, yeah, she's mentioned here, but there's no page for her. The depths. Oh, right. Duh. I should have looked here. Gold-eyed Celadon Mare. She doesn't have a page. But yeah, it is theorized that the Celadon Mare is one of Istaroth's. I wouldn't say creation or kid, because it's not like she's a mother, but they're part of her. Because she's the Thousand Winds. And there are different winds tied to her, because she's multitudes, literally. So yeah, Venti is one of them, and the Celadon Mare is another one. I wouldn't be surprised if by the end we know 3 of them, which I suppose we do right now, except we haven't seen the Celadon Mare, like, in person, her appearance. What else do I have written? There's no info. Piero was the royal mage. Correct. Yeah, and then notes on the elements and their concepts. String, transitive serpent, Thomas Mother. Okay. So in these notes, I don't think I have anything else. Let me look. Yeah, I think, yeah, that's all. But I have another notebook that I use. Let me look. Because I feel like at this point I need to revise a lot of my theories. Especially because this is the part of Genshin that I love theorizing the most about. So I feel like I will have a lot of notes about all of this part of the lore that at this point would be outdated and need to be revised. Not here. Not here. What's this? Miolanka. What the fuck did I write here? Feels like a parallel, I see, to the Moon Sisters. I suppose. It also could be a parallel to these 3. Alice made Lanka. Ugh, my original timeline. It probably doesn't make any sense at this point. I mean, there are some things that cannot be debated. Like, for example, that 1,000 years ago was the Lawrence aristocracy. But the whole part of the twins is probably wrong at this point. God, I still haven't had the time to redo that part of my timeline. Could Venti's part friend be or Wind's member? No, I don't think so. But we still have the lion missing. Yeah, see, I have this note that I have to essentially delete now because now I know for sure that they're not the same person, the Heavenly Principles and the Sustainer. But like, still, what does it mean to be the Sustainer? And what other roles are there related to the Heavenly Principles that are not the Sustainer? Give me a second, I'm opening my timeline. Let's switch the window here. Okay. I could probably zoom in. Good enough, I think. Not really centered. That's good enough. So you can see the text is very small because otherwise it doesn't fit. Okay. Let's see. War between the heavenly principles and the dragons. We do know about this, and it's not debatable in the sense that it didn't change with this new info. The dragons, the principle comes out on top. Humanity and all fauna created rare artifact sets, era of the unified civilization, the first era, Hyperborea. We're gonna learn a lot more about this in nod-krai. Jesus. Yes, it's a lot. I mean, it's really funny to say this, but Genshin is actually Hoyoverse's smallest universe, at least in the sense of the history of the place. So this is the shortest, actually. Nibelung acquired the power of darkness from outside this world to fight the heavenly principles again. Great War of Vengeance takes place with the Primordial One prevailing over the second who came. Economia falls. Knowledge of history before this war becomes forbidden. Did I have a note anywhere here where I basically said the now false notion that the heavenly principles is the same as X and X and X? Apparently not, but I could make one now. Now that we know for sure who they are. I think this was on 6.5. Nice. Okay. You use a coma, we get it. You're different. Why is it pink? Okay. Heavenly principles equals primordial one equals Fanes. Then sustainer of heavenly principles equals shade of space equals Asmodee. Let's put it on the same. There we go. Apparently it's bigger than this. Or, yeah, no. Put it at 7. I think that's correct. Okay. More access pairs. These three are very close in time, but we don't know exactly how close. Deshred and Rukadevata exist during this time. Salvinia dear. Vindagnir. I always read it wrong. Exist during this time. Therefore, during Dust too. That story happens before the divine nails are cast. Possibly around this time, Candria begins to be constructed. Fall of the Angels. Birth of the Silis. Solar Chariot falls, creating the chasm. The divine nails are cast. Surumi Island, civilization ends. The original Hydra Dragon withers away. It's literally written like this. It withers away. What the fuck does that mean? Knowledge of history before this war becomes forbidden. We have no clue when, but it was around 6,000 years ago. Then Wei Xiong's death, the Battle of the Guili Assembly, when he took human form, end of the Archon Wars, manga and Lawrence aristocracy. Twins arrived in Teyvat, I suppose. I mean, we don't know. We really don't when they arrived. Actually, I didn't mean to. MC slept while sibling became princess/prince. I was correct on this one, but I didn't have a lot of details. They choose to be poetic, but I need them to be specific, literally. Please, I need you to be more specific. Cataclysm, beginning of the game happened. Jiren Rugatavata's death. And well, we still don't know if the Cryo Archon went. Where is my note about that? Here. All Archons were summoned to Kandria, except the Dendro Archon. Whether they went or not, we only know that Makoto and they went for sure, and the Jiria too. I theorized that Morax went too, but NDA so no confirmed yet. Maoika went as well, yeah. We have that confirmed. So it's very likely that whoever was... Well, no, we know who was the Pyro Archon. It was Maoika. So yeah, Jiria and Rukatavata die at that point. Maybe the original Cry Archon also dies at that point. We don't know. This is probably all wrong at this point. Like, MC sleeps, sibling journeys to Vat with Tainsleaf. Heavenly Principles has been quiet. Yeah, this is when I used to think that Heavenly Principles referred to the Sustainer. Suspected to be asleep by Nahida and Abyss Twin, it appears that she was also asleep before Candria awoke. Woke. Woke. Bruh, I cannot type. To destroy them, then he exhausted her powers. Okay, you tried. Okay, we get it. Yeah, 20 to 30 years ago, the Marjvari vanished from the face of the world, but it's weird because 1,000 years ago, I mean, it's said that I don't have this written here. I should, because it's another thing that's not explained and pretty confusing. Because supposedly the Marjvari was created by Sanhaj in the battle during the Cataclysm, and 1,000 years ago is the Wanderer's troop. So you see how this doesn't make sense? Marriage was created 500 years ago, then 20 to 30 years ago it vanished. But 1000 years ago the Wanderer's troop was in Merjivari. So clearly some Issaroth is happening here. Which, by the way, she's the one doing the most. Like, what the fuck? Can she relax? Then, yeah. Diluc's coming of age and his stats. Death. Manga Koli Dotore Kaya Diluc. Fished Paimon out. Present day. And that's my comprehensive timeline for now, but I need to change all of this. Because, well, the last Archon quest gave us more info. And I still have this space where we have no clue what happens. To be fair, it's only 2,300 years, I think. Yes, correct. Earth does not need to relax. She's got the time. Oh my god. In case I know. Still haven't gone through all of this. I've read until this one, until the Golden Entreaty. Everything else, well, I did read only Bamboo Forest and Heart's Desire. Everything else I haven't read yet. And this is all the books that seem relevant for only this part of history. Along with Before Sun and Moon, of course, but that one goes without saying. Let's go back to the video. Oh, right, I need to resize the window again. You girly, you need to relax. Like, she had a hand in Enkanomiya, in Mondstadt, and in Azuma, and in the meeting of the twins, and apparently in Merjivari. Like, girly, come on. Can you not? Because every time you do something, it's so confusing. Stop creating paradoxes, please. Okay. Let's watch it again. Also, yeah, any minute now I'm gonna have to take a small break. But like 5 minutes tops.
This world has always been so. Life abides no reason, for none are born by their own consent. Death abides no reason, for it cannot be defied, even by those who see it coming. Time abides no reason, for it deprives us all equally, yet brooks not a second to be reclaimed. Space abides no reason.
Imagine she's reading the book, which is the story of the game. I'm getting Euphoria's PTSD. You should. Because Genshin Impact is basically Euphoria's. Yeah, something I wanted to mention and I didn't so far is the fact that the concept of reason shines in its absence here. Because, I mean, yeah, she keeps saying X abides no reason, which only leads me to think that there is no shade of reason, but the primordial one is the representation of reason. Which does remind me of Nikador. like, like he was lacking reason. Nias was the reason. What was I going to look for? Because you see, the artifacts, we have Flower of Life, Bloom of Death, Hands of Eon, Eon, another way of saying time, the Goblet of Eonotham, which Eonotham is a strange concept, but for the purposes of the game, we can say that it's space. And then we have the Circlet of Logos, and Logos means reason. And so for the longest time, we've been like, okay, so before Sun and Moon says there are 4 shades, but we have 5 artifacts. So what's up with that? Ugh, I hate that that makes sense. I'm saying so much. I don't know what you're referring to anymore, but at least the things I'm saying do make sense in my head, at least. So I'm happy to hear that it makes sense for someone else too. The crown, the mask, the headpiece, the hat, the headgear, the helmet, or simply the circlet. Oh, that's so cute. The crown of reason. I wonder, what does it say for Ionatham in other languages? Space, yeah. Cup of space, Holy Grail of space. And then the German translation, Goblet of the Void. Which, I suppose, yeah, because others like you viewed Rhine-Daughter Vedafall near Ronova. Okay. Chinese and Japanese. The character Kong, which is, by the way, Ether's name in Chinese and in Japanese as well, can also mean void, emptiness, air, or outer space, the cosmos. Without more context, it is impossible to determine which meaning is intended for this context. Well, based on the fact that the translation is Ionatham, I think space is correct. Or void, either or. For Eon, I suppose it was translated as time. Yeah, Sands of Time. So yeah, for a long time we were like, okay, but what about the shade of reason? And it does make sense that there's no shade of reason, but that the original one is the reason. So Fanes. Which, by the way, I was talking about this before you came, so I just wanted to point that out. How in Genshin we have a character called Fanes. Redirected. Fanes. So yeah.
For it deprives us all equally, yet brooks not a second to be reclaimed. Space abides no reason. The ruler of space stopped the golden-haired twin travelers and mercilessly tore them apart. The beer... No. This looks more like Rhine-daughter's doing. Please don't litter other people's spaces with your bizarre creations.
Unsurprisingly, all life here has been rendered unstable, tainted by the ruler of space. I have seen enough to know that repeating this experiment would be fruitless.
You seem to wield my power as if it were nothing but a plaything for your amusement. Although merging with you has stripped me of agency.
It has nothing to do with this part of the video, but I just can't stop thinking how Nahida feels like a perfect parallel to Paimon. Reading what experiment? These people were an experiment. Essentially, this space was created by the Shade of Space and then abandoned. And then, as it was abandoned, Granddaughter repurposed it for an experiment, which we don't know the goal of this experiment, but she created these people, and apparently, what's her name? Ikaroth came and bestowed upon them history. Why did you bestow history upon them? And then apparently they knew too much, and so they had to be terminated.
If it were nothing but a plaything for your amusement. Although merging with you has stripped me of agency, I shall still continue to voice my disapproval.
Reminds me of like the trope where if you know the full truth, you just combust. Well, we've gone into that in Genshin before. For example, in Sumeru, where Nahida couldn't tell us the answer of our predicament when we were in the dream. Because if she told us, our minds will literally explode. I think those were her exact words. So yeah, they have used it before, but in this particular instance, I feel it's because they know forbidden knowledge, essentially, and they cannot know that because it's against the rules to know that.
My dear Rhine-daughter, You have my respect, Nibirius. Your nagging is one of the only things that can get under my skin.
And you, Istaroth? Why did you bestow history upon them?
I had to find some way to pass the time, did I not? After all, it's clear that Asmodee is not here.
Well, perhaps you could share your input a little earlier next time. But you're right. There's no trace of Asmodee here. Where has she gone? Anyway, it's time I put this space out of its misery.
Wait, so it's against the rules to know about what the gods do or that they exist? Not exactly. I think it's more specific than that. Because otherwise, I mean, Piero would have probably been obliterated by now. Although he does have the whole Curse of Immortality. And for some reason, Renova refuses to go against that. Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly, I thought about him, yeah. This makes me think of that same technology cloth thing that appears in where Hyacinth is from. I don't remember the name of the place. I mean, my mind wants to say Twilight Courtyard, but no, that's not the name. What was the name?
These meetings are just a formality. Does it really matter that only 3 of us are here?
I, for one, think that we should find her. Since the Heavenly Principles cast us as shades, not one of us has ever missed a meeting.
Oh yeah, she's voiced by the same person as Cyrene/Mem. So yeah, try to picture Mem as a god of death. Eye of Twilight, yeah, that's the name, thank you.
What if she just switched sides?
I'm really curious what they mean by switch sides. Like, what is the other side? Because I mean, there's the light realm, there's the void realm, and there's the bishop realm. The fuck? That switch sides part has me fucked up. Yeah, because what do they mean? What is the other side? Do they mean the dragons? Do they mean humanity? Do they mean the abyss?
Finding her would do more harm than good.
Why would it do more harm than good? I don't get it.
Now there's an interesting idea. Better than being devoured.
And this one, I know she's playing on the fact that she devoured Naberius, but it also sounds like she's saying that that was the other option. Like, the options presented to the Shade of Space were either switch sides and betray the Heavenly Principles, or be devoured. Which, I don't know, man. This is the whole thing that led me to the whole venti thing that you heard when you just got on, because I was like, okay, but Istaroth also doesn't look like she does here, right now. This doesn't look the same. I was like, what if she was devoured too by another person? But then I was like, okay, but she's the Thousand Winds, so maybe she herself already is a lot of people. So maybe she wasn't devoured. Not yet, at least.
Howard.
Just switched sides. You make it sound like such a trivial affair.
Yeah.
We are shades, shadows of the heavenly principles. It's unthinkable. Unless she loves her new master more than her own self.
And well, this part feels so obvious that I don't know, is it a red herring maybe?
Ranova, do you know that you're being watched?
By whom? Whose gaze could pierce this far?
The Giga Chat. The number one. The only one that matters. Piero, the Chester.
I remember those eyes. It was just before I placed the curse of immortality.
Ah, yes. He's an old acquaintance of mine. I'm sure that working for the Tsaritsas helped him let go of his past obsessions.
The Cryo Archon. With her paltry powers, she dares set her gaze on the heavenly principles.
The heavenly principles have yet to awaken. If I were her, I wouldn't pass on that opportunity either.
Okay, relax, woman.
My dear Rhine daughter, you know I cannot allow you to think that way.
Oh wait, I just noticed this.
It was purely hypothetical, Nibirius.
For lack of a
Does
direct
it
order,
go back to gold?
I say it's time we intervened. Of course, to the
you show me gold?
extent permitted by the rules.
Hmm. Oh yeah, it goes back to gold. But in this scene specifically,
Was purely
that
hypothetical,
blue,
Nibirius.
For lack of a...
It was
this blue on the hair. Reminded me of her. Which, yes, I know. Turandal. Yes, I know. Relax. I know the original. Oh my god, so many tabs.
Direct order. I say it's time we intervened. Of course, to the extent permitted by the rules.
The gaze of the gods has always been considered a blessing. Hence the origin and meaning of visions. People have always yearned for the gate.
It's always the rules with the quotes, yeah. Yeah, it only leads me to believe that they're not exactly rules. Like, they are rules, but they should be called something else. Which really lends credence to the theory that many people have had for a while that this is a simulated universe. So, like, literally like Amphorius. It's just a program.
Of the gods.
With a different purpose, of course, but essentially that.
And yet, it is said that when mortals look directly upon the gods, they invite their wrath and retribution. And what of it? Lives will be lost, a nation brought to ruins. So be it. It is nothing I have not endured before. I already know the price of gazing upon the gods. So tell me, what is the price of killing a god? The god stays silent, as if the thought had never once crossed his mind.
This is where I mentioned Vanes, the primordial one, the heavenly principles, and then talked about Finan.
To all those who dare not
Because
look up to
yes,
the
I do think that the heavenly principles will turn out to be another Kevin Caslana variant.
heavens, Her Majesty the Tsaritsa says this. Behold, even the gods have their limits.
Inspection over. Return to your posts.
Make sure the Frostmoon Scions don't pose a threat.
That's me.
Per the Pale Star Edict, we are to retrieve the damselette from nod-krai, whatever it takes.
Dude, if you end up being right about the heavenly principles being a case of Kevin, I thought I would riot. Why? I mean, now that we had Honkai Star Rail do something similar, like, it feels like Amphorius is either stealing the thunder from Genshin, or this means that they're going to drastically change direction from where we think it's going to something completely different, just so it doesn't feel too similar to Honkai Star Rail. Because, like, Amphorius is way too Genshin coded. But, like, they wouldn't do that. Like, they would be ruining their own story in a different IP. So I kind of get you, but I'm so locked in on Genshin that honestly anything that happens is probably gonna hype me up. But yeah. And well, Columbina glitching like Arlecchino. I feel like they like to make people suffer, so they kept the concept of the plot, but HSR was just for a region instead of making us play a game for years and telling us at the very end. I mean, they do like to make people suffer, you're correct on that. So they kept the concept of the plot, but HSR was just for a region. But also this type of trope is so trendy right now, like Expedition 33. I have no clue about Expedition 33 or what it is about, so I wouldn't know, but I believe you. Okay. Fine. I'm gonna leave that open. Oh wait. I already had it open. Okay. God. Anyways. Okay. I'm gonna wrap it up here. I also need to go to the bathroom, and at any point I'm going to need to run downstairs, so should wrap it up before that happens, so I get to go to the bathroom first. But yeah. That was fun. I'm so looking forward to Genshin. Like, can the special program be tomorrow? But no, it's in 9 days. I have to wait. So yeah. I can't believe they dropped this right now. Anyways, gonna leave it here for now. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And see you when I see you. Goodbye.